Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brittany of BrittanyJJones.com and I am here with another sewing video. I'm really excited about this video and this dress because it is perfect and right on time for the holidays. We're going to be sewing up McCalls 7654, or if you have my number, this one is MP589. It's the same exact pattern, they just have different numbers. I got this one off of the display and not down in the bottom of the drawers, but it's the same exact pattern, so no need to worry if we have different numbers. So I love this one pattern because it has many different options, many ways to mix and match and just make your own. For me, I'm going to be sewing the dress with the pencil skirt, the bodice, and the circle sleeve. I'm all for a good cold shoulder, so I jumped on that one as soon as I saw it. So let's get into the fabrics that I'm going to be using in this video. The fabric that I used for my dress came from TÉLIO fabrics. I was sent this navy mirror satin fabric and I love it. It was beautiful to work with. It had a really great drape and it has that sheen that we all love for the holidays. Some of the other supplies that you will need to get to make this dress is you will need your matching thread. You will also need some interfacing. You will need some lining. Now depending on which bodice you make, if you make the strapless version, you will need a 16-inch invisible zipper as well as bonding. If you make the other bodice, then you will need a 22-inch zipper. So once you have all of your fabric and your pattern pieces cut out, all your marks transferred, and all your notches snipped, we can get started. Alright everybody, so the first step to sewing our dress, we need to put stay stitching along the side edges of our front bodice. So I've already put my stay stitching in, so now I'm going to move on to step 2. I'm going to grab my side bodice fronts, which is piece 2. I'm going to begin to pin them to the side of the bodice. So go ahead and start at your notches, pin there first. And just begin to pin your side fronts to your bodice like I'm doing here. Once you have both of your side fronts pinned, you can go ahead and take it to the sewing machine and sew them down now. Alright, once you're back from the sewing machine and you have your side bodice fronts sewn to your bodice, go ahead and press those seams out, and now we can move it to the side and we can move on to step 3. Go ahead and grab your back pieces, your bodice back, which is piece 3. And now we want to go ahead and pin and sew our darts. So you can go ahead and start pinning your darts in place like I have here. And once you have them all pinned, go ahead and take them to your sewing machine and sew them down. Alright, so I'm back. I have my darts sewn, and I also went ahead and gave them a good press. So make sure that you press your darts out as well. And you want to make sure that the darts are pressed facing the center back and not your side. Make sure you do that for both of your back pieces. Alright, so now we are at step 4, and we need to pin our front to back at the side seams. So go ahead and lay your front bodice. You want to put it right sides together with your back pieces, pin on both of the side seams. Once you have them both pinned, you go ahead and take it to the sewing machine and sew them together. Alright, so this is how my front and back bodice pieces are looking. I have them sewn, I've pressed open my seams. And so now we can go ahead and move this over to the side and go ahead and grab your sleeve. Now the sleeves are different for each of the pattern pieces, but I'm going to be using the circle sleeve. So I'm going to move over to step 15 and I'm going to begin pinning my seam sleeve together. So go ahead and pin both of your sleeves together if you're following along with me doing the circle sleeve. Pin your sleeves right sides facing, match up those notches, and then go ahead and stitch it together. Okay, so once you have your sleeve sewn, the next step for us to do is to do our hem. But because I'm using this beautiful satin fabric, I'm going to save my hem for last because I want to hand sew it in place along with the hem of my dress. But you can go ahead and do your hem. If you're not going to do hand stitching, you can do your hem now. But I'm going to save mine for the end. I just want to let you know. So the next step, we can put our sleeves to the side for just a little bit, and we're going to grab our piece 9, which is our facing piece. You want to go ahead and apply fusible interfacing to that. And for mine, I serged off the outer edge of it as well as folded it in just to give it a cleaner finish. You can just serge yours or use picking shears, zigzag stitch, whatever have you. Finish off the edge of your facing and then go ahead and pin it to the top of the sleeve. Make sure that you match it your notch first and pin all the way around the facing of the sleeve. Once you have it pinned on both sleeves, take it to your machine and sew it down. And while you're at the machine, do understitching on it as well. Alright, so once your facing is attached, make sure that you baste the edges together, the raw edges together with the facing and the sleeve. Make sure that you do your understitching like I did here. So now we can go ahead and now we can attach our sleeves to our bodice. So go ahead and grab your front bodice piece. And you want to first make sure that you are using the right sleeve for the the front and back. Follow your notches. You should have 2 notches for the back and 1 notch for the front. So go ahead and line up your notches in your center underarm seams and begin to pin there in place and pin all the way around your sleeve. Once you have your sleeves pinned in place, go ahead and take it to the sewing machine and sew them down. Okay, so now I'm back. I have my sleeves sewn in place. Make sure that you do that for both of your sleeves. And now we can go ahead and move on to our next step, which is our skirt. So go ahead and lay your bodice to the side and go ahead and grab your skirt pieces. I'm going to be sewing the pencil skirt, so I'm over on step 30. So first thing first, you want to go ahead and stitch your darts. So I have my back darts already done, so now I'm going to do my fronts now. Once you have those darts done, you want to pin your 2 back pieces together like I have here. You should have transferred 2 large dots. You want to pin between those dots and sew between those dots only. All right, so it should look a little something like this once you're done sewing it down. The next step for us to do is to sew the side seams. So go ahead and place your front and back right sides facing. You want to go ahead and line up your notches on your side seams of your skirt and begin to pin those down. Once you have them all pinned, you can go ahead and take it to the sewing machine and sew them down now. So once you have your skirt pieces sewn together, you want to go ahead now, and our next step is to attach our bodice to our skirt. So right sides together, I'm going to line up my bodice with my skirt, matching up the notches. So once you have them matched up, go ahead and begin pinning them in place, starting at your notches first. After you have it pinned there, you just kind of want to work your way all the way around, matching up your notches as well as your seam lines. So go ahead and begin pinning yours in place now. Once you have it all pinned, go ahead and take it to the sewing machine and sew it together. All right, so now that you have your bodice attached to your skirt, you do want to make sure that you matched up all your seam lines. So definitely make sure that you go around and check and make sure that everything matches and just looks nice and neat. So the next step for us to do is to go ahead and install our zipper. So go ahead and grab your zipper, and there are tons of zipper installation methods. So use whichever method works best for you. You just want to make sure that the zipper teeth is 1/4 of an inch down from the upper edge. And so make sure that you do that. You don't want it all the way up to the edge. So for me, I'm just going to begin pinning my zipper in place. Then I'm going to take it to my machine and baste it down. And then after I have it basted, then I'll go back and put my permanent stitch in, making sure I sew really close to the coils. So after you have your zipper installed, now we can go ahead and move our dress over to the side and grab our lining. So for the lining, we are going to do this the exact same way that we did the dress. Don't mind the lavender looking lining. I promise it's navy. It's just showing up lavender in the video. But we want to go ahead and construct this the exact same way. Put your darts in your back bodice pieces as well as in your skirts. You want to do the same thing for the front bodice pieces. So take your front bodice. You want to take your side fronts and sew them the same exact way. Nothing has changed. After you have the bodice and the skirt sewn, then you want to go ahead and sew them together the same way that we did. So once you have all that done, right here I have my lining sewn exactly the same way as I sewed my skirt. I went through the exact same steps. And so now our next step is to go ahead and attach the dress lining to the dress. So go ahead and grab your dress, and I'm going to just slip my lining over it right sides facing. So go ahead and slip your dress into your lining. Make sure that you have everything right sides facing each other. So go ahead and do that now and pull everything through. So once you have everything pulled through, now we can go ahead and begin pinning our lining to our dress. So just so you know where we are over on step 38, and you want to first pin around the neck edge. Once you have that done, you want to move on over to your armholes. But the thing here, you want to make sure that you move your sleeve out of the way. We're not going to be sewing the sleeve. We just want to sew the raw edges together. So you want your lining to match up with your dress, but you don't want your sleeve to be in the way. And you also should have transferred some small circles. You're going to sew below those small circles. We need to make sure that we keep our sleeve open because we're going to sew that in a later step. So go ahead and pin all the way around. Make sure you check out your diagram. You can see exactly what you're going to be pinning and stitching. I also decided that instead of slip stitching my lining to my zipper tape, I was just going to go ahead and pin it and sew it down now. But you have that option. You can slip stitch yours if you like. That's over in step 48. But I have everything pinned, and I'm going to just take it to my sewing machine and sew that down now. All right, I'm back from the machine. I have my lining attached to my dress. So our next step is we want to go ahead and close up our shoulder seams on our bodice. So what you want to do is we're going to take the front bodice. I'm going to open it up so that the lining's on one side and my dress bodice is on the other side, the fashion fabric. You want to do the same exact thing for your back bodice piece, lining on one side, fashion fabric on the other. You want to line those up right sides facing and pin at your center seam, and then match up those notches and pin those down as well. So after you have them pinned, then you're just going to go ahead and you want to sew in one continuous stitch across the lining and across your fabric. You want to do that for both of your shoulder seams. So after you have them pinned, go ahead and take them to the sewing machine and sew them down. All right, so once you have it sewn, it should look a little something like this. The next step for you to do is to go ahead and close up the opening with your slip stitch. If you didn't do your hem, you can go ahead and hand sew your hem in place, as well as go ahead and hem the bottom of your dress and the lining. Once you have both of your hems complete, you can also go back and add some French tacks to the bottom side seams of your dress and your lining, just to keep the lining in place, and then you are all done with your dress. Thank you so much for joining me for this sew along. I really do hope that it was helpful and you were successful with making your own beautiful dress. If you have any questions, please let me know below. I'll be more than happy to answer. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to follow the blog at BrittanyJJones.com, and I will see you all in the next video. Blessings, everyone. Bye.